It's just this bit that still feels a little bit tacky.
I don't want to do fancy blended oil paintings. This is all about doing the basics right. Do you know what I mean? We do the basics right over and over and over again to try and make it better. Any sort of discipline, do the basics really, really well and drill it. For me, man, like my kind of real obsession, I guess, dirty street bombing, graph, tagging and throw-ups. And then that sent me down a path of just like, not just that, there's lots of different things. My brain's fucked more than anything else. And that sent me down a path of drug addiction and pretty fucking savage crack habit. Drugs took over and I got so paranoid, my psychosis was so bad, I get to the stage I couldn't paint. Do you know what I mean? My brain was fucked. When I started using drugs a lot, it was all fun and games, it was wicked, I really enjoyed it, like most people do, and that was at a really young age. Not really understanding anything about what addiction is and like how that's gonna fucking play out. The next thing I know, I've dropped out taking loads of all party drugs and I'm not going to clubs and raves or anything like that anymore, and I'm just sitting at home sniffing gear and sniffing cocaine, and suddenly it starts with like a whisper, right? And that psychosis played such a massive part in my life, man. Like, it took me to a place that I didn't even realize was fucking possible in a really, really sort of quite horrendously dark way. You know, we all see like the skaghead on the side of the road, like pinning up heroin or whatever, and everybody's kind of, they get that, but I don't think that the psychosis aspect of it is ever really spoken about. I have a missus, her name's Ruth, and she had a son at the time who was 1 called Flynn, who's now my son, and I had to raise him, and I had nothing else to fall back on, literally. Like, it was paint or just like be on the dole. Like, I had no other fucking choice, so I just started painting. I kind of decided that I wanted it to base it around mental health and what that was about, what that meant to me, but not in some overt shit way. So I wanted to take that statement of Einstein's theory, right, of repeating the same action over and over again and expecting a different outcome is his theory of insanity. So it's all based on repeating the same action over and over again, but creating a different outcome, and kind of saying like, fuck you to his theory, because my psychosis was to the point that it was so wild that I crossed that fucking line a long, long time ago. Going down with the particular line, sleeping there and being homeless, and I was never begging or anything, but I was just lived on the street because family had had enough, like, I couldn't deal with me anymore. I was a cunt, and you're so outside of normal society, and do you know what I mean? Like, you're just an outcast. And when I started painting and it kind of grew a bit of hype around it and it started getting bigger, the one thing I wanted to make sure was that it was going to be accessible to everybody. So I knew if I had that kind of darker undertone with what I was about and what the work's actually about, but then kept it light-hearted with like the Smurfs and fucking Mickey Mouse, but the reality of it is this kind of darker story. My 2-year-old takes something from it and my grandmother gets it. I wanted to depict insanity in some way. It all needs to have some sort of element of like panic or kind of weirdness, intoxicated, all based on hiding, because that was a big part of my life. It's like hiding and not getting caught. Most cartoons are about that. Mad years of paranoia are all based around not getting caught. Started drawing at a super young age, ADHD, ADD, whatever you want to call it. And the only thing that kept me quiet would be to sit and draw and sketch. It must have been about 9 or 10. My mate sitting at the desk behind me drew his brother's tag, which I was like, that's the sickest thing I've ever seen. I didn't have a clue what it was, but made it my mission to find out what it was. And all my friends at home were, from a young age, getting involved in loads of shit, and then I went with it. Do you know what I mean? That criminal aspect of it just evolves. You catch tags and you realise, oh, I can get away with this, and it's like, cool. Well, we nick paint, so let's just go and nick something else. The drug taking ramps, and then the money dries up, and shit, I need to go and raise more things to fund this, and oh, these people are serving up, well, I might as well serve up as well. My mental health completely dropping off a cliff. Suddenly, everybody's like, I can't be around this person anymore because this person's a fucking nightmare. Right. And I was a nightmare to be around. But so it's weird because graff was one of the things that led me down that really fucking bad path, but then it's also one of the things that completely saved me at the same time. So it's this kind of double-edged sword. Yeah. I've kind of found out through years of therapy, realizing what addiction is I'm 0% or 100%. There is fuck all in between. There's nothing. It's one or the other. The amount of people that could fucking relate to it and get it, like, it's important to talk about it, like, take that stigma out of it. Yeah. Like, this shit happens, it happens to a lot of people. Like, it's not just the fucking junkie outside on Hackney Road smoking brown. It's like, it's you sitting at home drinking 2 bottles of wine at night, thinking that's all right, because maybe it's not. But worse and worse and worse and worse. And I tried to get clean through fucking NA and AA and all these different routes, and that was great. It's amazing for some people, but it didn't work for me. And what helped me was, A, being creative again, having responsibility and having a fucking purpose. And with doing this, it's like the process is just as important as the outcome. Sure. The process of me here with Arthur, painting every day, just that outweighs the outcome. We paint pictures that end up awful, and so I guess the output's big, but I'm not doing it for anybody else apart from to be here with my mate painting. That's kind of, that process is just as important as the outcome, yeah.